Welcome to Tesla Tuesday. My name's Jodie Knight. You can find me over on eToro, and the link for that is down in the description. But for this video, we're going to take a quick look at my portfolio, look at the daily chart for Tesla, the weekly chart, and as well as a quick look at the open options interest there. Hopping straight over to the portfolio, we've got 15.76% return year to date. Pretty good. We're getting back to that all-time high. We're a little bit off it so far. I need to get another 10% roughly back, and I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. I'd like to end out on a really strong year. I think that's the way things are going. So fingers crossed. The 2-year here, 8.86% return. Important to note, though, that this isn't actually a 2-year. It's more like a 2.8. For some reason, eToro calculates it to the last full year. So when we get to January, I expect that to take quite a large jump. It's probably going to take up to about 150% or something like that. But yeah, just important to realise that that's not actually the accurate 2-year. If we take a look at the portfolio, SoFi is back up to the 10% weighting that I want. CleanSpark's a little bit under, so I'm hoping that stays depressed until my monthly deposit. Tesla, I'm okay being slightly under 10% for now on that one, as I think there's more immediate opportunities in the market with SoFi and CleanSpark here, and to some degree Redfin Corp. The only real changes I made over the last week were close a little bit of Hood and a little bit of Palantir. Pretty much same situation for both. Prices a little bit extended, and I see a smaller return. But for CleanSpark and SoFi, I see a lot more return, so I've rotated the money into those ones. I might make a few other changes today, but we'll see how the market opens up. Looking at the daily chart, actually price action's been pretty impressive, really. I know Tesla loves to fill its gaps, and we do have this gap here, so it's probably going to make a push up to there in the near future, but I wasn't expecting it to have such a powerful move up here and retest this trend line again. I think if we get another break out of this one, it's probably going to confirm that it doesn't want to stay low, and we should grind around in this volume gap for the most part. But I think when rates are cut, people are going to switch to front running this, because that's going to be pretty good for Tesla's business model. So next resistance is going to be this high at 233, and the low is probably going to be down here at the 210. Not really too fussed. I don't really care what Tesla does this year. It's the 2025 price action that I'm really excited about. So I'm not really trading this one. It's super volatile. It's sometimes hard to predict. The main thing I want to do is make sure I'm getting Tesla at what I think is a good price right now to what I think it's going to be in 2025. And I think this is a bargain. I think this is going to double at least next year when the new products start hitting the tape. So, but if you want to trade the chart, go ahead. It's probably quite lucrative. Not something I'm interested in. It's just too choppy. I'm already in a lot of choppy stuff, so my portfolio is pretty volatile anyway. But RSI is flat. The golden cross is coming together a little bit, but it has started to separate again. So that could be pretty bullish if that continues, especially with the institutions coming in and washing out retail. Flow is still quite low, though, interestingly. The main thing that's interesting with Tesla chart is this low volume here. We're moving up quite high on low volume. That's not always super bullish, so it's something to bear in mind. So I'm cautiously optimistic on this one. But like I say, I'm not too worried about the short-term price action being in, i.e. the next 6 months. The main thing I want to do is make sure I've got a good position in this going into 2025, which is what I'm working on. Weekly chart on this one still looks really good. It looks like we really want to get above this confluence of resistance here. If we can pop above this trend line, we can really confirm some good support here, and that will bode as well into the future. But like I've mentioned when we looked at the daily chart, the main thing I want to do is make sure I've got a good price average going into 2025. I'm a little bit underweight to what I'd like to be at the moment, but there's more pressing opportunities that I think are going to hit a lot sooner than Tesla. So I'm happy to be a little bit underweight in that until I take some gains on that and rotate in. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be right, but that's my current plan. And that's how I'm going to manage my portfolio. So on the weekly, RSI is flat. We do have the golden cross with institutions still coming in and retail's looking a bit pale there. So that's looking bullish, and flow is kind of neutral. So again, we're kind of just stalling. We've got low volume. It's just kind of going to shop around, I think, until some good news comes out. It is possible that the Cybercab event, I think it was 10th of the 10th, that could be the launch pad. But I'm not betting on that. I mean, my models, the numbers get insane to 2026 and 2027. So I'm not too worried about any short-term pops. But like I've said, I do want to have a good position going into it just in case, because Tesla can pop really erratically, and when it goes, it really goes. So something to bear in mind if you're going to invest in this one. Looking at the open options interest here, we've got this peak at $227. Now, when we looked at the normal charts, we did see that there was this great big uptrend here, and we're coming up to some confluence here, so it makes sense. A lot of people will have their strike prices there, so we should see some profit taking, in my opinion. So that's going to be a good resistance level. So really, it's always good when the open options interest kind of lines up with what you're seeing on the technical chart. It kind of shows you're on the right track, because the people that are using these derivatives tend to be the bigger funds, and those are the people you want to be on board with, not retail. Looking out to the week after, though, still this really high volume strike price here. I'm not sure that's going to be happening, but for the most part down here, we've got a lot of volatility. A lot of people are going to want to try to capture the small moves it makes. That's not really my cup of tea in this one, but go for it if you want to. And just out of curiosity, a week after, this is looking a lot more sensible. Strikes back at 230, which again, we looked on the daily chart and we have this local high here, so that's going to be a tough one. But I think when it pops above that one, it's going to fill this gap pretty quickly up there. For the 2025 strikes, we have had quite a change. We were sitting about 415 to 450 as the kind of peak volume there, but we've shot up considerably to the $600 range, which is quite bullish. I think that might be, it's sooner than I would expect, but we do often see front running in Tesla. Predominantly, that's why I want to have my position ready early before it starts making a move. I think sometimes people get a bit caught out on Tesla. They wait for a confirmation of a move, but by then it's shot up an insane amount. So this kind of supports that theory. So I'm glad I'm building my position a little bit earlier. But the downside support here, it's looking about 170-ish, but I wouldn't expect it to go that low. But I think Tesla's going to do some considerable jumping in either direction in the coming 6 months. So for the 2026, because we've also really started to ramp up to these, before they was kind of stuck at about 300. For some reason they're a bit lower. So to me, that says people are expecting there to be a huge pop and then a pull down. But as long as I'm in there to catch that move, because it looks like it's going to be a whopper, I am ready for it. And like I say, the fundamentals of this company, when we build our models and we project out, the numbers get insane. I don't even want to think about a price target because the numbers were just ridiculous. I just want to make sure I'm getting in the meat. I'm probably going to rely heavily on technicals for my take profits on this one, because like I said, the fundamentals are just kind of crazy right now. If you all found this content helpful, feel free to give me a like and share it with your buddies. Also subscribe. And if you like this kind of content, you can also check out my website at www.thecraftytrader.com. On there, there's loads of research on my core companies, Tesla, SoFi, and pretty much everything I do my main videos on. I'll see you tomorrow.